Okay, we're back. Now for the thinky part. Hello, everyone. If you're just joining us, my name is Margaret Pennard. I'm a historical fiction and fantasy author, and I'm here to talk about the end of the year book tag. No, not the short one, a long one, which is actually much more fun. And I started this earlier today, but then I had to sign off to do an interview because I talk too much. So I'm coming back for the last 4 questions. I did number 19. We've got 20, 21, 22, which are a little bit more reflective. So I didn't want to try and squish it into a minute. But here we are. And it's mid-September. Oh, here's the other thing I forgot to say. It's actually the fall equinox. So everything's equal today. Daylight and daytime and nighttime. And, various physical earth qualities. So that's pretty cool. It's a day about balance and even-handedness, and maybe thinking about how we balance things in our lives. I don't know. If that hits you, let me know. We have people who came back. Oh, you're lovely friends. Thank you, Felicia. Hello again. Thank you, Jim. You're back. Yeah, I just did another pop-up and just put a new thumbnail up there. Why not? We had a good interview, but it was very short, so I knew I'd be coming right back. So question 20 is, what would I reread? So this is the only book question left. And for this, I have 2 nonfiction. I think fiction for me, it's more unusual that I would reread it. So for my would rereads, I would say Self-Portrait in Black and White, which was early. I read this in February by Thomas Chatterton Williams, and he is a writer who is biracial, and so he was considering his family and heritage as well as his identity, and looking into it in the context of race relations in the US, race relations in Europe, because he's in France, I think, with his wife's family. Again, this is from like January, February. But I thought it was fascinating. And for someone who is on the outside of this and doesn't feel sometimes like worthy of having an opinion, I thought it was really interesting to witness his thoughts process, his evolution, his changing opinions, and like his resolutions about his self-portrait. I thought it was really great. And then the other would reread is Payback by Margaret Atwood, because it's short. It's like packed full of information that you really need to digest either slowly or in multiple rounds. So Payback by Margaret Atwood, if you can find a copy of it, because again, I don't think it was very popular, but 2008, it was pretty gold. So rereads. Question 21. A reading goal reflection and next year's reading goal. So I am 106 books in for 2024, and I would say I don't have a reading goal. I'm aiming for around 130, 140, which is maybe 10 books a month, which seems doable. I go from like 5 to 10, 12 a month. So it sort of varies depending on what types of books, what research I'm doing. And this fall, I have a book coming out. So my focus is definitely going to be on promoting and marketing and finishing all the details for that. So it might go down a little bit, but that doesn't bother me because the reading goal is definitely subservient to the publishing goal for 2024. In terms of reflection, I have definitely let go of my like diversity tracker by month this year. I'm not really mad at it. I think I get enough recommendations and sort of new voices and things like that from all the Booktube watching that I do. So I think it's filtering in more organically into my selections. I may revisit my tracker next year. I've got this thing I can share with y'all that I took from Melissa, which was my goal probably like 3 years ago. Does it have a date? It doesn't, but this is like from 3 years ago. So I try to keep pretty consistent on doing research as I go. I try to vary it up by format. So having an ebook, I don't really like reading ebooks, but getting at least some in there helps me get through the indie reads that I have, which are usually by ebook. Audiobooks, I do have advanced listening copies, so I usually get a couple of those in per month, also depending on the driving that I'm doing, which is when I do a lot of audiobook listening. My owned TBR is on that list because I'm constantly trying to cull the books that I'm not going to read. BIPOC authors is definitely a concern that I try to keep in the mix because I know the publishing industry is not going to do it for me. And nonfiction, I think I'm pretty solidly in a third of my reading is nonfiction, so not too worried about paying attention to that anymore. But indie pub, I am concerned about paying attention to. And what will help me in that goal is that Herkyed, the hardest reading challenge you've ever done, hosted by Q Wordy, is very cognizant or aware of indie pub books and has several challenges to complete that involve indie titles. So I think paying attention to that up until next July will definitely help me, if I do it, reach those goals, which is great. So we have more for this. No. So the final question is about prioritizing what reading goals in 2025. So yeah, we've got 3 more months of 2024, but thinking ahead, what would I prioritize reading in 2025? Oh, Jim just says he passed the 4th anniversary of his channel, which is amazing. Yes, 4 is a good number. Did you do a Q&A or did you have a short that celebrated it? I haven't seen that yet. Jim says, I rarely reread, but have reread a couple of books this year. The Blind Assassin. But fiction. Got it. And Wuthering Heights. Yeah, it'd probably been a while since you read Wuthering Heights because it's a classic for the education roster, but you would probably be looking at it with new eyes after all your recent 4 years of reading, I would think. Hi, Gareth. Dave directed me where to find you with your channel name on Instagram, so I hope you got that shot of the molasses spice cookies from a couple days ago. Jim says, my goal this year is 72 books for the year, and he's currently 2 books ahead. Way to go. I don't constantly check that or like super worried about it, but I think you're pretty chill on that. Gareth says, good to reflect on diversity, even if it's more casual sometimes. Yeah. Anna calls back, hello again. Yeah, I had 3 questions left. So we got 1 more book in and then 2 reflective. So the final reflective question is about priorities for next year. And my handy dandy notes or crib sheets for this is, what am I going to prioritize? So again, I'm not super concerned about the tracker and like keeping up to a certain number of each kind each month, but my priorities are going to include the owned TBR, the things that like I want to read, but for some reason just don't pick up. So because I have this project going of getting new bookshelves behind me and getting new flooring in and doing away with the terrible carpeting, I don't know when that'll happen, but maybe 2025 is our year. I thought it might be this year, but if I get rid of enough books and make enough space, I can do the remodel of the floor and get the new bookshelves, and it would look gorgeous behind me instead of like a cluster. So you have that to look forward to if I reach my goals, everyone. SPSFC. So that is self-published science fiction. What does C stand for? I have it open. Competition. Jeez. Yes. So as part of the Herkyed challenge, we are tasked with reading, I think, 5 non-finalists from the category. So that means I get a big boost in self-pub, which I'm keen to read and see representative samples of, but also science fiction self-pub, which I don't think I have read much at all of. So that's very exciting. Always like to try new things. 5 is a lot. we'll see. I'm hoping I find some winners. I have definitely done the try something outside your comfort zone and then been sorely disappointed because it was not a good fit. But hopefully, with the reviews and whatnot from the site, I'll be able to pick well, to choose my books well. I've got at least 3 on order, so I'm excited for that. So own TBR, SPSFC Indie Pub Books for Herkien. And book. Okay, so the Indie Pub thing is going to lead me into a new idea I had, which is bookseller recs for No Voices. So I am supporting a Kickstarter at the moment that ends on October 1st. It's called Bold Coffee and Books. It's going to be a combination coffee bookstore in my neighborhood in Portland, which is so exciting. And it's run by a friend of mine who has an editing agency and does like publishing services, and I've known her for a long time. And I'm not a coffee person, but I am a book person. And she is going to be highlighting books that are new voices, so BIPOC authors, Indigenous authors, just like people we don't normally hear from mainstream publishing. And I think that's excellent as a goal and a very laudable ambition. So I'm excited for the new business. I'm excited for the Kickstarter success and excited to hear what books she's going to be championing from local authors, I imagine, are going to play a big part, as well as BIPOC authors, which are going to be like new to me. So that's great. It's a win-win-win. And, you know, I love talking to booksellers, so I get to do something rewarding for me. And then finally, sequel research. So my final reading priority will be research books for the sequel. So right now I'm wrapping up final edits. I'm wrapping up cover ideas. I'm finalizing the title. I'm gathering together all the pieces for this first book in a series. And very soon I'll be announcing the title because I will have finally made peace with the final title. And I'll be dropping that on my Patreon. So if you're curious about like what the new book will entail for historical fiction, I've got this link, bit.ly/Patreon_MP4. And you don't need to pay anything. You can just follow along and get emails when I post things like the title drop, the cover drop, the pre-order offer, and all that stuff. So that's where you can find me. But after I get that out and published in November, December timeframe, I am going to be back doing research for the sequel. So I've got 2 other characters who I think I know, but you know how characters can be, will have their own books, and they're going to be tangentially related in the same era and related somehow, but fighting different struggles. And so I'm excited, and I've got more research to do, which is very exciting, which I love to do. So hopefully you'll be on the ride, on the train for that ride, and join me in the delightful anticipation of a new series. I have the title for the series as well. So yeah, very exciting. Should I just reveal the series title here? It's very common, but it's not common in my genre. So let's see. Kara says, I'll go over to Instagram later. Yeah, it's a story. So it may have disappeared already, but it was just a picture of my molasses spice cookies, which I know you wanted to see. JC was here. Hello, hello. Jim says, no video for 4th anniversary. Ain't got time for that. Doing hot girl shit. I get it. But I did Jack's Evolution of a Booktuber tag. That's true. I did watch that, I think. Another one from the 2020 cohort. Oh, not Jack Edwards. Jacqueline. Gotcha. Yeah, that's right. I was like, he's the huge one, right? No, you're talking about Spread Book Joy. Excellent. It's on my playlist for book tags to do, but as you probably know by now, I take a month or 2 to do most book tags, so you gotta get some anticipation. And Gareth says, self-published science fiction. That's me. Well, are you in the category? Can I use you for the prompt? Self-published science fiction competition. The link, I can put it in here. Maybe you've been nominated and you don't even know it. I don't know how they do it because I'm not in this category, but let me know. That is the link right there in the chat. So go forth and explore, everybody. That's part of the fun of being on Booktube. And those are my priorities for reading in 2025 from this vantage point. So it's a goodly list, I think. And yeah, if you like this end of the year book tag more than the other one, feel free to do it. You've got plenty of time. And there's 22 questions, so you get a little bit more, runway and elbow room to like digest. I don't think the other one, the short one, is really that good at getting into your tastes for the year. So maybe we'll start a new thing in our corner of Booktube, and maybe people will appreciate this book tag. Who knows? Who knows? Go forth. Diversify that reading list. Take care, everybody, and thanks for being here. You're all lovely, and I appreciate you. I'll be amazed if I've been nominated. I mean, there's always a first, right? Jim says, the historical murder mystery I just finished had a convict transported to Botany Bay, but it was set in 1858, and transportation to New South Wales stopped in 1850. Oh, but it was an enjoyable read. Yeah, Jim knows that I started reading The Fatal Shore as research, but like I stopped halfway through. So it's been sitting halfway through for like a year now. I don't know that I'll get back to it, but it's still right there. It's still right there. That hasn't been given away yet. Murder in the Foundling Hospital by Irina Shapiro, a Tate and Bell mystery. Oh, okay. You can't be nominated. Anita's on the list. She says you have to enter the SPSFC and the fantasy version SPFBO competitions. All right. Good information. Thank you for letting us know. Well, maybe next time, Gareth, you can enter. Thank you, everyone. Take care and have a lovely Sunday. And enjoy your reading, everybody. Ciao. Oh, bye.